Hi everyone, and welcome back to our channel, Olden Goldens. In today's video, we'll be remembering American celebrities who have recently passed away, along with other notable figures from around the world. Before we begin, we'd really appreciate it if you could show your support by giving this video a like. It truly means a lot to us. Mitzi Gaynor, the actor, singer, and dancer who starred in such 1950s Hollywood musicals as South Pacific and There's No Business Like Show Business, before going on to conquer the Las Vegas stage and TV variety specials, has died, her management team announced today. She was 93. As we celebrate her legacy, we offer our thanks to her friends and fans and the countless audiences she entertained throughout her long life. Renee Reyes and Shane Rosamonda of Gaynor's MGMT team said today in the statement announcing her death. See the entire statement below. The statement added, "We take great comfort in the fact that her creative legacy will endure through her many magical performances captured on film and video, through her recordings, and especially through the love and support audiences around the world have shared so generously with her throughout her life and career." Please keep Mitzi in your thoughts and prayers. Liam Payne, a founding member of the popular British-Irish boy band One Direction, died Wednesday in Buenos Aires, Argentina, after falling off a balcony from the hotel's third floor. He was 31. La Nación reports that before the incident, police were called by Hotel Casa Sur staff to report an aggressive man that could have been under the influence of drugs or alcohol. We were alerted about a person who was in an internal courtyard of Casa Sur Hotel. First responders arrived and confirmed the man's death. We later learned that he was a singer in a musical group. Unfortunately, he had injuries incompatible with life as a result of his fall, so we had to confirm his death. There was no possibility of resuscitation. Alberto Crescenti, head of the state emergency medical system, said. Although they were going to await an autopsy report, Crescenti noted that Payne apparently had a skull fracture, a very serious injury. Payne rose to fame as part of One Direction, the pop group formed by Simon Cowell on the X Factor UK Season 7 in 2010 that also featured Harry Styles, Niall Horan, Louis Tomlinson, and Zayn Malik. The group released 5 studio albums from 2011 to 2015, all of which went platinum in the US and hit number 1 or number 2 stateside and in the UK, and were top 10 around the world. It scored 4 number 1 singles in Great Britain: Debut, What Makes You Beautiful, Little Things, One Way or Another, whose video Payne directed, and Drag Me Down. 5 others reached number 2 in the country, as One Direction became one of the top-selling boy bands ever. One Direction saw less chart dominance in the US, but had a half-dozen top 10 singles and 7 million sellers stateside. 3 other singles went gold in America. The band was featured in the 2013 documentary One Direction, This Is Us, which was billed as intimate all-access look at life on the road for the global music phenomenon. Released by Sony Pictures, it looked at its meteoric rise to fame from humble hometown beginnings to the X Factor to conquering the world and performing at London's famed O2 Arena. This Is Us grossed more than $68 million worldwide. One Direction also had 2 platinum-selling long-form videos in the US, with Up All Night, the live tour, which got a brief overseas theatrical release, and Where We Are, Live in San Remo. Payne also had 2 top 10 solo singles in the UK, with Strip That Down and For You, the latter from the 50 Shades Freed soundtrack. He postponed a South American solo tour last year to recover from a kidney infection. Payne played himself in a 2012 episode of iCarly and did the same in a voice role for Family Guy 4 years later. He had been the subject of tabloid headlines recently after his ex-fiancée, the model and social media content creator Maya Henry, went public with details about their turbulent relationship. She had reportedly sought a cease and desist order to stop him from contacting her. Information on survivors wasn't immediately available, but Payne had a son with singer Cheryl Cole in 2017. John Lascelles, a character actor known for his television portrayals in Perry Mason, The Twilight Zone, and Dark Shadows, has died in Los Angeles at the age of 95. The news was confirmed by an obituary notice, which listed the death date as October 4th. His last screen credit dates back to 1985 with the Emmy-nominated TV miniseries A Death in California, opposite Cheryl Ladd and Sam Elliott. He appeared in a handful of episodes in the aforementioned television classic Perry Mason, as well as one guest spot on The Twilight Zone in the Lincoln assassination episode Back There. His most regular appearance was on the Gothic soap opera Dark Shadows, where he portrayed vampire hunter Dr. Peter Guthrie across 25 episodes. Other notable TV appearances include Dallas, Falcon Crest, Lassie, Mannix, The Streets of San Francisco, The Mod Squad, Mission Impossible, and Gunsmoke. He was also in 2 episodes of Wagon Train and 4 episodes of the Emmy-winning show The Fugitive. While Lassell mainly worked in television, he had several film credits, including a role as Helen Keller's father in 1970's Helen Keller and Her Teacher. Born John Witten Lassell on November 6, 1928, the retired performer married thrice, including to fellow Twilight Zone and Helen Keller and Her Teacher co-star Patricia Smith. Peter Strauss, a veteran film executive, movie producer, and pioneering entrepreneur, died October 6th at his home in Beverly Hills. He was 83. He was surrounded by his beloved wife of 46 years, Susan, and his son, Jonathan. Over a remarkable 5-decade career, Strauss left an indelible mark on the film industry. As executive vice president of Mandalay Pictures for the past 25 years, he oversaw the financing and distribution of numerous film and television projects, including The Jacket and Air. He was instrumental in the growth of independent cinema, pioneering foreign sales and off-balance sheet financing for independent films. In 1998, Strauss was appointed president of Lionsgate Entertainment, a company he helped establish alongside Frank Giustra in 1997, overseeing its U.S. operations. During his tenure, Lionsgate rose to become a prominent force in independent film production and distribution. Previously, Strauss served as president, CEO, and chairman of the International Movie Group, where he produced and executive produced more than 30 films, including the Best of the Best series, Buster with Phil Collins, and Cadence starring Charlie and Martin Sheen. Strauss began his film career at Allied Artists, eventually becoming executive vice president, shepherding films that included the 1973 Oscar Best Picture winner Cabaret, Papillon, and The Man Who Would Be King. He went on to become executive vice president of Rastar Films, the production company of Ray Stark, where he oversaw the production of notable projects such as The Electric Horseman and The Villain. In the 1980s, he founded Panache Productions, producing titles including Dance of the Dwarfs and Thunder Run. Strauss was educated at Oberlin College, the London School of Economics, and Columbia University School of Law. He was a member of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences and was committed to philanthropy and mentorship throughout his life, inspiring and supporting young talent across the industry. Strauss is survived by his wife, the former Susan Rausnitz, his son Jonathan, and daughter-in-law Elizabeth Westlake, grandchildren Teddy and Caroline, and many devoted friends and colleagues. A private graveside service was held October 8th, and a celebration of his life will be announced at a later date. Ethel Kennedy, the widow of Attorney General in New York. Robert Kennedy died Thursday of stroke complications. A political force unto herself, the sister-in-law of President John Kennedy and mother of 11 children, was 96. The family revealed on October 8th that Ethel Kennedy had suffered a stroke in her sleep on October 3rd at her Cape Cod home and had been taken to a hospital. Her daughter, Carrie Kennedy, announced the news on social media. Having survived her husband by 56 years, the family matriarch went on to form the Robert Kennedy Center for Justice and Human Rights in the months following the then presidential candidate's assassination in 1968 in Los Angeles. Respected and beloved by generations of Americans and many others around the world, Ethel Kennedy was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Barack Obama in 2014. "You don't mess with Ethel," President Obama noted at the White House ceremony to laughter, adding on a more serious note that Kennedy's love of family is matched only by her devotion to her nation. Born on April 11, 1928 in Chicago, the daughter of Great Lakes Carbon Corporation co-founder and coal mogul George Skokel, met the third eldest son of Joe and Rose Kennedy on a family skiing trip in Canada in 1945 via her college roommate and RFK sibling, Gene Kennedy. At the time, Bobby, as his family and friends called RFK, was dating Ethel's sister Patricia. Soon after the two met, RFK was dating Ethel. While the couple waited 5 years to get engaged, they were married in less than 6 months on June 17, 1950 in Greenwich. Not long after that, as his older brother Jack moved into national politics, Bobby followed and moved his burgeoning family to Washington, D.C. An active participant in JFK's successful 1960 bid for the White House, Bobby's 1964 senatorial run, as well as other family campaigns, Ethel was a strong advocate for her husband seeking the Democratic nomination for president in 1968. More than 3 months pregnant at the time, Ethel was not with RFK celebrating his victory in the California primary on June 5, 1968, at the now demolished Ambassador Hotel in LA, when her husband was fatally shot. However, she was by his side in the hospital when the 42-year-old senator died from his wounds more than a day later. The Kennedy family has been portrayed in countless films, TV series, and stage performances, and Ethel appeared as herself in a 1982 episode of Cheers. RFK and Ethel's youngest daughter, documentarian Rory Kennedy, turned the camera on her mother and her life in Ethel, which premiered at the 2012 Sundance Film Festival. Ethel and Robert Kennedy had 11 children, with sons David and Michael passing away in 1984 and 1997, respectively. Along with Emmy-winning filmmaker Rory, Ethel Kennedy is survived by her other offspring, former independent presidential candidate Robert Kennedy, Kathleen Hardington, Kennedy Townsend, Joseph Patrick Kennedy II, Courtney Kennedy Hill, Mary Carey Kennedy, Christopher George Kennedy, Matthew Maxwell Taylor Kennedy, and Douglas Harriman Kennedy, as well their children and grandchildren.
Breaking news of the day.
Legendary actor Christopher Walken, known for his iconic roles and unmistakable voice, recently opened up about his unexpected journey into acting and the life philosophy that has shaped his career. Growing up in post-war Queens, New York, Walken was exposed to show business early on, thanks to his mother's love for entertainment. "I was born at the same time as the birth of television in New York City," he recalled. "There were 90 live shows every week, and I grew up around musicians and comedians, pretty unusual education." Walken describes his foray into acting as a happy accident. Originally working in musical theater and chorus lines, he never expected a film career. "Sometime in my mid-20s, I got an acting job and then a movie. It was all serendipity," he shared. Inspired by his father's relentless work ethic, Walken brought the same passion and dedication to acting. Despite often portraying villainous characters on screen, he remains humble. "I play a lot of people who are up to no good. It's probably as much about physicality as anything else. I'm just grateful to be working." After nearly 50 years of marriage and decades in Hollywood, Walken's advice is simple. Embrace serendipity, stay ready for opportunities, and always find joy in your work.